Welcome to Season 2, Episode 13 of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. My name is Ken Van Camp. In each episode, Keke presents a dog's perspective on life and growing up in the human world. In this episode, Keke learns a new trick and involuntarily enters a contest at the Dynamic Dog Club. I hope you enjoy our presentation as we start with Lesson 70, Learning Dog Tricks. Keke attends her first meeting of the Dynamic Dog Club. Daddy belongs to a Dynamic Dog Club. I'm not sure what that means because dogs are not invited to the meetings. What's the point of a dog club without any dogs? As you know, if dogs ruled the world, things would be considerably different. But as you also know, empires and rulers have come and gone over the eons, but dogs are the one constant man has always depended on. We do not rule, we influence. When Daddy came home from last month's club meeting, he announced that the feature of the next meeting would be dog tricks. Members were encouraged to bring their dogs and show off their latest tricks. Oh, and there would also be an Easter bonnet contest. Oh, no. Please, just no. Trick and treat. I've sniffed out this trick trail before and know where it leads. Don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid to try new things. I'm also not a stuck-up kitty cat who refuses to perform under any conditions. So a long time ago, when they wanted to teach me to sit, I thought, no big deal, I got this. My humans have said before that I am not a food-motivated dog. The truth is, I like a rare T-bone as much as the next dog, but that's not what they were offering. Half the time, they forgot to bring the treats, so they asked me to do tricks with the promise that they would later produce the treats. And then they forgot the promise. This is why I have a simple rule. Payment is due immediately upon services rendered. The other half of the time, they brought a pathetic, crunchy, store-bought treat with wholesome, all-beef simulated flavor featuring red dye number 3. Ultimately, I agreed to pee outside, and they stopped trying to teach me tricks. Beyond that, we agreed to disagree. Roll over, Beethoven. So this month, when Daddy announced he would teach me to roll over, a trick he hadn't attempted before, I was skeptical, but thought, okay, we'll give it a try. After all, what did we have to lose besides our sanity, our already frazzled nerves, and all sense of dignity? I won't bore you with details, but let's just say it was less than stellar. And I don't want to point paws, but somebody couldn't decide the starting position, which direction to roll, or when to stop. The dog club meeting. Finally, the day of the dog club meeting arrived. I'd forgotten all about it, assuming I wouldn't be going since our trick training had been such a flop. Apparently, Daddy had other ideas, and Mommy was in on it. She bathed me and brushed me, clothed me in a new Easter dress and bonnet, and promised me a fun car ride to meet the other puppies. I'd heard that phrase before we headed out to the dog park last year. See my lesson, The Dog Park Massacre. The name says it all. I was cautious. Before we even opened the door, I could hear dogs yapping and woofing. We entered a large room with a veritable smorgasbord of dogs of every size, scent, and breed, all on leashes, and the majority surprisingly friendly. After introductions, the meeting was called to order, and we settled down. Daddy picked me up to my chagrin. I wanted to hang with that cool Pomeranian. I thought we could be besties swapping Swiftie bracelets. One by one, dogs came to the center of the room to perform. A doodle mix danced circles on 2 feet. A poodle rode a skateboard and dunked baskets. But my favorite was a Yorkie who flipped in midair to a thunderous round of applause. All this left me wondering why I was here. To shame me for not learning to roll over? My anxieties peaked when the announcer said the next trick would be performed by Keke, the blogging and podcasting dog. Daddy carried me to the center of the room and told everyone I would perform a new routine, something no one had seen today. "What are you talking about, Daddy? We never discussed this." I gave him a low growl and my best warning look as he explained to all that I was not a food-motivated dog. "No," he said, "I only responded to love." Where was this leading? He continued, still holding me in his arms, as he asked the audience to practice showing me love by saying in unison, "Good girl, Keke." "Really, Dad? Have you lost any semblance of sanity?" And that's when it occurred to me. Perhaps he planned to throw me in the air and flip me like a Yorkshire pancake. I half expected a drum roll as the room fell silent and all eyes focused on me. He lifted me above his head the way Rafiki displayed the newborn Lion King. Then Dadley proudly commanded, "Keke, look cute." I stared at the crowd, horror-struck, as dogs bellowed and people burst into laughter. Then they all said in unison, "Good girl, Keke." Very funny, Daddy. I'd be LOL if I weren't TOF, teeth on finger. The day wasn't a total waste. We got third place in the Easter bonnet contest. Thank you for listening to this episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. I'm Ken Van Camp, and I hope you've enjoyed this performance. If so, please rate it and leave feedback. You can post feedback on our Facebook page or email. The addresses are in the episode description. We are dropping a new episode of Keke's podcast every weekend on all major podcast apps. Make sure you follow Keke's Guide so you'll be notified as each episode becomes available. So, what will happen next? Will Keke ever attempt another trick? Will Ken realize how stupid he looks wearing an Easter bonnet? Be sure to join us for the next episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human and find out. Because dogs are people too, you know.